Today we're talking about the Pomodoro Method, one of the easiest ways to keep you the most productive and to split up those big tasks into smaller chunks that you can accomplish throughout your day. That's coming up. What's going on, everybody? I am Youngman Brown, and this is Your Creative Push, the podcast and the YouTube channel that's all about helping you to push past your creative resistances so that you can live your best creative life. And today's video is a part of my productivity and time management series for artists. You can find all the other videos and the playlist listed in the description below. But today we are talking about one of my favorite strategies for actually getting work done when you have a large chunk of time. It's the Pomodoro Method. And this is also great for taking big tasks and chunking them down into smaller bite-sized chunks, which is one of my favorite strategies as well. And the Pomodoro Method itself is super simple. You don't need to take any notes in this video. All you have to do is set a timer for 25 minutes and get to work on one task. Don't try to do multiple tasks in this 25 minutes. You're just going to want to try to get done one single task. And you also don't want to think about the timer itself. 25 minutes is definitely manageable. You know how long 25 minutes is, and you know that you can get your work done in that time. So don't think about the timer, don't look at the timer, just trust that it will go off eventually and get to work on that one focused task. Now, if somebody comes to distract you, you get a phone call or anything like that, you can literally tell them that you are in the middle of something. You can tell them you're in the middle of a Pomodoro, whatever. This is the thing that you've chosen to do for the 25 minutes, so make it important. After you're done your 25 minutes of work, you can take a 5-minute break, and I suggest you physically relocate. Go somewhere else in your house, go somewhere else other than your studio, somewhere different than you just did that work, and stretch or grab a glass of water. Whatever it is, just give your brain that chance, that opportunity to refresh and reset. And once that break is over, you are done your first Pomodoro cycle, which is called a Pomodoro. Congratulations. You can do 3 more cycles and then take a 20-minute break, a longer break, to give yourself that chance to refresh and then get to more Pomodoros if you wish. Now, the Pomodoro Method is exceptional, not just because it helps you to break up your tasks and break up your workday, but it also helps you to understand how long tasks take. And this should have been apparent to you already in our time on it video, but now you have a new measure of time, not just how long things are going to take in terms of hours and minutes, but also in terms of this new unit of measurement, Pomodoros. So tasks that for me, I know are going to take 3 hours, they're not as bad when I think about them and when I sit down to do them, when I think of them in terms of 6 Pomodoros as opposed to 3 hours. It's just a mental hack that you can make for yourself as well. And that segues very nicely into the first of my 5 tips for you when it comes to the Pomodoro Method. And that is lying to yourself and telling yourself that you're going to do just one Pomodoro. One of the hardest things for creative people and really anybody to do is to start doing a task. So if you can lie to yourself effectively and tell yourself that you're just going to do that one simple 25-minute segment of work, it will help you to get into that groove of doing work, and you'll be surprised at how easy it is to get back into that second Pomodoro after your first break. And the second tip I have for you is to be flexible. If 25 minutes of work and a 5-minute break doesn't work for you, try out 50 minutes of work and a 10-minute break, or shorter or longer segments, whatever works best for you. You also don't have to take breaks, so you can experiment if you are in the flow to just keep going and skip right through your break once you've got the training wheels off and you've gotten to work, like we talked about in the previous tip. But sometimes the breaks are necessary to keep you going long term for the day. So it's easy to skip those breaks and to keep working when you feel like you're in the flow, but then when you get to your 3rd or 4th Pomodoro, you might be burnt out if you did not take those breaks. So just use caution, but be flexible and be willing to experiment. It's also very important that you actually use a timer during the Pomodoro Method. It can be very tempting to simply take a mental note of what time it is when you start, add 25 minutes to it and make a mental note of that as well. But when you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure, because not only do you have to remember 2 different times, but you have to constantly be checking the time. and that is not what you want to do when you're doing focused work. So use a timer so that you can mentally check out in terms of how long this task is going to take. I also suggest that you use a notepad, an emergency notepad, when you get those ideas while you're doing your focused work. You're going to be in your creative zone, so you're going to be getting ideas that aren't related to the single task that you're doing. So you want to honor those ideas and you want to remember those ideas, but you don't want to be thinking about those ideas while you're doing your work. So keep a notepad simply for that, for the ideas that you get while you're doing your work that are not related. And the fifth and final tip I have for you is to actually put Pomodoros into your calendar. As you get used to doing the Pomodoro method, you'll start to understand your workflow and how many Pomodoros you can do in a day before you start to get burnt out, and the kind of work that you can fit into your Pomodoros. So look back to your calendar that we talked about in a previous video and find those empty spaces and actually plug Pomodoros into your calendar. So I hope this was helpful for you. I know that the Pomodoro method has been an absolute game changer for me, so I hope that it helps you out as well. In the description below, I will list some resources, some free timers that you can use that are a little bit more fun than your kitchen timer perhaps, as well as my other videos on time management and productivity that I know will help you. So I hope that you have a creative day, and we'll see you in the next video.